Eating. Nope. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. It is Tuesday evening. It is just after 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and it is just after 8 o'clock Central Time, because it's not really a coast, it's more of a time, because Texas is special. It gets its own time. And I'm sure it's not just Texas. I'm sure it goes like up and down. And there's even some states that don't even observe daylight savings. So I don't even know what that's about. But salams, everybody. Here we are live once again coming at you, the VennNetwork's Raw Islam, with the hardest working imam that I know, Imam Azhar.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings to all our listeners coming to us here live tonight on YouTube and Periscope. We welcome you to another episode of 102 Dalmatians. Is it? I don't know. I'm joking. 103 Dalmatians. So another episode of Raw Islam with Imam Azhar and of course our dear brother Carl Dodge. We welcome you to another edutainment episode where we discuss the topics that you, the listener, select. And yes, there is somewhat of an influence in the topic suggestions that we also present, but we leave that form open to all of our listeners, and then they pull on it every Monday afternoon and Monday evening so that we can have clarity of what we're going to discuss tonight on a Tuesday night here on Raw Islam. So thank you for joining us in this cold southern evening where Carl was telling me it's quite warmer up north, which is surprising, but nevertheless, our beach man Carl will tell us what is the forecast for today's program. Carl, without further ado, we're going to ask you, tell us what is it that we're discussing tonight that our listeners are so interested in knowing about?
So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow us on Twitter, VennNetwork, VennNetwork, because as Imam Azhar said, every Monday we post a poll where you, our voters, you, our listeners, you, our fans, get to vote on what we will be talking about. And yes, we do talk between us and choose the four topics that you will be able to vote on, but the final vote is to you guys, and you are the ones that control the topics after we give them to you. And this week's topics were Netflix, The Messiah, Afghanistan, Let It Snow, and of course, as if you're a regular listener to the show, as you know, my personal favorite, What's the Deal With? And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on your screens, and if you're not watching this and you're listening at another time, I will go ahead and just tell you, as you can see, it's Netflix Messiah that won with 50% of the vote. So this evening we will be discussing Netflix The Messiah. And before I turn this back over to Imam Azhar, I'm going to tell you guys that we did our usual Monday morning Twitter conversation or text conversation where I was like, what should the poll be this week? What do you think? He's like, what do you think? And he came back and said, Netflix movie. And I was like, well, can you be a little more specific? Because Netflix is all movies. I don't quite understand. Well, and they had some shows, but I was like, I don't quite understand. And he said, go check out my Facebook page. So I went to his Facebook page and I scrolled a little bit. And I came across the trailer that he had posted, and I watched the trailer. And other than what I watched in the trailer, I don't know much about this, but it took me like, it was like Homeland meets Con Artist meets The Second Coming of Jesus meets Skeptic meets, I don't even know what it was. And I texted Imam Mazhar back and I'm like, I have so many questions. That is so weird. What is this? Why are they making this? And I'll tell you, the only positive thought that I had was at least they cast somebody from the Middle East as the Messiah. That was good. They didn't cast some blue-eyed white guy for it. That was nice. And we will jump over to our chat room as well. Sunshine, yes, welcome, Sunshine. It is 7 after. You are correct, and I know I just responded to you on Twitter. We were running a little late because Imam Mazhar came from a meeting, and we're going to kind of blow through tonight because he has to get to another meeting. He's a busy, busy guy, as I tell you guys all the time. And with that being said, back to you, sir.
So, just to clarify and set the stage, because this could be a real good discussion and a topic that maybe we'll touch on again next week if we cannot complete it this evening. In Islam, we all believe, and it's part of our faith and our doctrine, that in addition to believing in messengers, all messengers, and in addition to believing in the text, the revelations of God, all of them in their original format, we believe that Jesus, peace be upon him, who in Islam is a messenger, is to return on this earth. That means that we believe he had already come and that he will come again. This is a very unique opinion in the world of religions. From amongst the Christians, there are those who believe Jesus was crucified, but then he was raised 3 days later. So they believe that Jesus came back. Some believe no, Jesus will return back again. And there are many different understandings of Jesus through the many different sects of Christianity. The Jews, however, believe that Jesus has not come until now. So the Jesus that came wasn't the Jesus that is expected or anticipated for according to the Torah interpretations, and they believe that he's yet to come. So they all seem believe that Jesus is going to be the same one that the Jews believe is going to be the one to come. So it's a bit muddled up here. In Islam, we believe there's the Masih and the Messiah. We believe there's two. And I am not in any way, shape, or form categorizing either of the two that are complex, like kind of compressed into one here, as of the following two categories. The Masih in Islam is going to be Jesus, peace be upon him, who will return in body, in flesh, in soul to this earth. The Messiah, Carl, this is where it gets interesting because when you said that at least it was a Middle Eastern man, I wish it wasn't. And I'll tell you why. The Messiah in our terminology is the Antichrist. And so Netflix tried to play this game with people, and it was an article written in, I think, the Telegraph or something in Britain that exposed that when they were trying to talk about who is this guy that you saw on the trailer, and Carl, I'm hoping you could share that trailer with our listeners on Twitter, whatever the case may be. That's not Jesus. That's a depiction of the Antichrist. And what was so disturbing to me in that trailer was a priest saying that he felt that this guy was someone truly miraculous. And so I don't want to go off on this tangent tonight about who's the Messiah, who's the Messiah, and which text or which religion has the right perspective. But again, the Jews believe Jesus never came till now, but that Jesus or the Messiah is going to come. The Christians believe Jesus came, and so do the Muslims. The Christians believe, for the most part, Jesus was crucified. The Muslims believe he was raised. But the Christians and Muslims can't agree that that same Jesus, that same guy, is coming back. And so, but the thing is, between the Jews and the Christians now, it's kind of muddled up. Is it one person, or is it two people, or is it one person who's two, or is it two in one? But in Islam, we believe the Messiah and the Masih, Jesus and the Antichrist, are two separate things. And guess what, Carl? The Antichrist will come first. Jesus will come after. So Netflix is introducing a series, a movie, whatever you want to call it, which blatantly describes the Antichrist, who we in Islam are vehemently against, We don't believe. Rather, we feel he's going to be the biggest trial on the face of this earth ever to come. We learn from prophetic traditions that every prophet that stepped foot on this earth from Noah, of course, Adam was the first human and prophet, but messenger and prophet onwards, like Noah onwards, every prophet warned their people about the false Messiah. So I won't call him the Antichrist, I'll call him the false Messiah. Because some people call the Messiah also Jesus. And that's why in Arabic, Masih and Messiah. We say Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam. The Masih, Jesus, son of Mary. And Messiah is more towards the Antichrist or, of course, as I said, the false Messiah. So